In this video, I'm going to show you step by step how you can build an affiliate marketing website using WordPress. Hello, my name is Austin Godbolt, and I create content to help you start generating passive income in just 1 hour per day with affiliate marketing. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell if you are looking for different ways to start building a passive income with affiliate marketing. And before I forget, if you want my #1 recommended way to start building a passive income every single day, click the first link in the description to go to austingodbolt.com/start. All right, so in this video, I am going to show you step by step how to build a website using WordPress for your affiliate marketing business. We're going to pick a domain name. We are going to find a WordPress theme from a website that I'll recommend. We are going to install that theme, and then we're going to do some basic configurations. We are going to go through everything. This is probably going to be a longer video, but this video will help you get started. It'll take care of any questions, comments, concerns that you may have. All right, so let's get started. I'm on a website called instantdomainsearch.com. Now, this website allows you to find free and available domains for your website. Now, basically what a domain does is it allows people to remember your website address. Without getting too technical, websites communicate with each other by numbers. The numbers are converted to domain names so that they're human readable. You need a domain name in order to have it. You don't need a domain to have a website, but it helps people find you. So what we would do in this instance is we would just type in a domain based on either our niche or our sub niche, something that would be relevant or resonate with your audience. Now, you don't have to do that. If you're starting an affiliate marketing website, it can help. If you're, let's say you're doing a website on vacuum cleaners, that might be one way to go. Another way to go is to build a brand. So like austingodbolt.com is a brand name. It's my name, but it also can be a brand name. If you go that route, you can essentially create content on whatever you want. So what we're going to do is, let's say we'll type in, let's do web hosting. So I type in web hosting and webhosting.com is taken. You can make an offer to buy it, but that's going to be really expensive. But the great thing about this website is it gives you other ideas. Now, if you're doing this, I recommend, if you're looking to build a business off of this, I recommend that you stick with .com. You don't use .gov. You don't use any country identifiers, because people are automatically going to assume that if it's a country identifier, the information is only available in that country. For example, vacuum cleaners. Now, when it comes to outlets, are the outlets different in the United Kingdom versus the United States? People are going to see that and automatically assume that let's say I have a us.com or a us.org website. People are going to automatically assume that the information on my website is only for the United States and wouldn't be relevant around the world. So something to consider when you're getting started. You want to make sure that you use a .com site to get to net the most amount of people. So what we would do is we would just go through and we would find one that resonates with us. Some modifiers that you could add in is planet. That looks like that's available. That's pretty easy to remember. In reality, you want your domain name to be as short as possible, or something that is easily rememberable. You could do web hosting guy, that's taken. You could do web hosting fan, that's taken, but you get the idea. So what you'd go through, let's say you find one that you're like, let's do webhostingonline.com. You can click buy, and then it'll take you to GoDaddy's website where you can buy it for a relatively inexpensive amount for the first year. What you can do, one of the great things when it comes to web hosting is, even though you're buying the domain name from GoDaddy, you don't have to use GoDaddy as your web hosting provider. What you would do in this instance is you would buy the domain name. You'd go through and probably buy the identity protection, spend a total of like $15 for the first year, and then you can actually point your name servers to anywhere you want. Basically what that means is you could buy your domain name very cheaply through GoDaddy and then change the name servers to Bluehost and have your hosting through Bluehost. That's perfectly acceptable. Most people don't realize that they can do that, and that's why that's how GoDaddy can easily get customers. They offer very cheap or very introductory level web domain prices, $4.99, which is a very good price, and then people automatically assume that they need to have their web hosting. But a pro tip is buy your domain name very cheap for the first year, $4.99, very good price, maybe even buy it for 99 cents through a website like Namecheap, and then change the name servers. I won't show you how to change the name server in this video because there are a ton of other videos out there and it takes like 30 seconds. So you buy it through GoDaddy, go through the process, check out, and then go through and change the name server, and the web hosting provider that you go through will actually have the name server for you to change. For example, if you want to have your web hosting site through Bluehost, it will be like ns1.bluehost.com or something along those lines. If you need help with that, just reach out to their tech support. They'll be able to quickly and easily tell you what their name servers are. So once you get the name server part figured out, then you're going to go over to your web hosting provider and you're going to access the cPanel. The cPanel is where everything is stored. You can check out you can create email addresses, you can build your websites. There's usually just a ton of extra features depending on your level of service. For example, shared hosting is going to have less available features than like VPS hosting. Again, that's kind of outside the scope of this, but in general, this is where you can go to create email addresses, add domain names, just a ton of extra features. And what we're going to do here is we're actually going to build out our WordPress site. Because I created a domain name at a GoDaddy website, I need to actually create the domain here in my web hosting provider's cPanel. So to do that, I just go over to domains, and this is going to be grayed out because I have a number of domains already set up. I'm just going to go create a new domain. Then I'm going to type in the name of my domain here, and I am going to click submit. And so now that that's created, I can actually go in and create a new website on WordPress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my cPanel here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my cPanel, and then I'm going to go all the way down to applications. Now, again, this is going to vary just a little bit depending on your web hosting provider, their backend, and even the level of service that you have. But most web hosting providers have something called a one-click install that will allow you to install WordPress on your website fairly quickly. So I'm going to click on WordPress. It's down here at the bottom left. It's an app. And I am going to go over to install now. And what I need to do is I need to change where I want to install this. And so I'm going to go to I'm going to go to the new domain that I just created and make sure I leave everything else blank. I don't want to create subdomains just yet. And I want to make sure that I create a very strong password. This is crucial when you're getting started, because if someone can access the back end, they can essentially take over your entire site and steal your identity. So it's very important that you what I would recommend is that you set up a domain name and then actually set up at least 1 or 2 sub accounts, and don't give them the domain level access. That is a way to secure yourself and to ensure that you actually don't get hacked. It doesn't ensure that you don't get hacked. It reduces the chances of you getting hacked. So for example, I'd create I'd create an account that has complete total administrative privileges, and then I would go through and create maybe like an Alston 1 where it doesn't have the same level. It has maybe the contributor or the ability to add content, but it doesn't have domain level access in the event someone compromises or someone finds out what my Alston 1 would be. So what I recommend is you create something really strong, write it down on a notepad, and hide that notepad in a safe. So now that we have done that, as you can see here in the bottom, it allows you to install a number of free themes. It doesn't matter what you install right away, because we're going to go buy a premium theme. It's very important if you're looking to get started with affiliate marketing and you're looking to build a website to invest in a premium theme. You can find good themes anywhere from $10 to $100. The reason why you want a premium theme is because simply premium themes are usually maintained a little bit better. They're updated frequently. They usually have a little bit stronger code written in the back end. Stronger code means that the website will work faster. In addition, they'll have additional plugins and features that will come pre-installed, and it just makes it a little bit better for your customer. It makes it easier for you to get started. So it really doesn't matter. We're just going to select one here, and if I scroll all the way down, I'm going to click on install it. I just want to make sure everything is correct real quick. So I am good with everything, and I'm just going to click install. All right, so it's been probably less than 10 minutes, and now I have a WordPress website. This is the back end. This is where we're going to make all the configurations and changes, and I'll actually show you what the front end looks like right now, and then what it will look like after we make some changes. So this is how the website looks right now. It has that basic WordPress theme that I showed you. It doesn't have any plugins. It's a really blank page, and it's like a blank canvas. We can basically do whatever we want. We can do a ton of different things, and I'm going to walk you through all the things that I would do if I were just getting started with a WordPress website for affiliate marketing. So I'm just going to close this, and let's quickly run through all of the different sections. Home, is the basic dashboard where you'll run into your basic information. Believe it or not, you can actually configure and customize this home screen. To do that, you can go up to screen options, make some changes, take away the welcome screen if you want. You can add that back. You can just make a few different changes there. Underneath home, if you have any updates that need to occur, they would show up here, and they actually show up in a few other places as well. It says that all of my themes are updated. It was last checked the 24th, so tomorrow. If we go down, posts, this is a certain type of content. Now there are two ways that you can create content on WordPress. You can create blog posts and you can create pages. Blog posts is more of like that written content where you're writing on a topic, you're being personable, you're showing your knowledge of a topic. I use pages to kind of like do reviews. I want to talk about the strengths and weaknesses. If you are just trying to get discovered organically, you probably want to do pages. Some people will make the argument that there's no difference. Traditionally, WordPress is used for blog posts, so I would just stick to that. One of the great things with WordPress is it originated as a place to create blogging content. So naturally, there's some SEO built into it. There's some plugins that you can download to make it even more SEO friendly or search engine optimized. And so let's just go through. I'm going to show you what happens when I create a new post. So I'm just going to go add new. It's going to talk about the block editor. I'm just going to say hello and welcome. So this is the title of the blog post. If someone were to search hello and welcome, potentially my website could show up. I'm just going to put here is some basic content, and I'm going to hit publish again. And once this publishes, it should take me back to my home screen here. So if I go back to my web page, and you can quickly go to your website by going right clicking here and then open a new link in the tab, and here you can see my newest post. So that's really it. And you can do that as many times, but we're going to do some configuration, some changes. You can add tags and categories, but that's kind of not really necessary for what we're going to do. Media is where all of your images are going to be stored. If you have any videos, I recommend actually hosting your video somewhere else and then playing them here. I can show you how to do that at a later point. And if you have any, let's say, audio, all of that's stored here, and you just click add new, go find where it is on your desktop, or if you have it somewhere online, and then you add it, and it'll appear here. Pages, I talked about it briefly. Again, you create an actual page. If you have privacy policies, if you have an about us, that can be a page, things of that nature. If you have a review on if you have a review on a vacuum cleaner, that can go under pages. Comments, this is where people will come from around the world and they'll make comments. What I would do is I would actually add a spam filter plugin. So, or even not even allow comments on your web page or website so that you don't have to deal with the spam, because once your website gets popular, you're going to get people from all over the world spamming random content. They're going to try and steal your traffic by posting links. They're going to try and steal your site by spamming your site, potentially shutting it down. There's a number of arguments that can be made to not have comments on your website. So after comments, we have appearance. This is where you can add and change your themes. Now remember, when it comes to WordPress, there are themes and there are plugins. Themes are the way your website looks and feels. So if I activate this, and then I go to my incognito mode here and I paste this in, my website should look different. As you can see, it looks different. So that's what a theme is. It feels different, look and feel. A plugin adds additional functionality. Let's say I wanted to add a clock on my website. I could go find a free or even paid plugin to add. Let's say I wanted to add a drop down to enter in your email address after a few minutes. That's a plugin that I could download for free or for paid. So that is what themes are. We can go to customize, and within customize, we can change colors, we can change our blog identity. There's a few different places you can change the blog identity. So if we want to change it from my blog, we could change it to, we'll say, where life matters. I don't know, I couldn't think of anything better than that. We'll say matters of life. We'll click publish, and that will actually change. And again, I have to keep opening this here. So I paste that in. As you can see, that changes up here, where I change the name I changed the site title and the tagline. That actually changed the information up here. So if we go back here, We can run through, we can change the color, light, dark, custom, we can change the header. And one of the cool things is you can preview all of this. You don't have to hit publish in order for you to see the change. So if I wanted to, I could go dark, hit publish and see what happens. Let's see, we'll go back to light. We can select a header color. As you can see, that changed the header color there. You can go red, that changes the header color there. All of this is just very customizable. Let's see, we'll go back to the default and we'll click back. Header media, we can change the way what image appears here. I'm actually going to get rid of this theme completely because I don't like it. We'll click OK. But those are some of the things that you can do within the customized widgets, are things that you can add maybe to the footer. For example, if we wanted to add our contact information, we can add that to the footer. We can add some of these things, custom HTML, we can add that to the right side. If I go back to my website here, let's see. I'm gonna open this one more time. Maybe I should just leave it open. You see these things here on the right hand side. As you can see, I changed it to a dark theme. These things on the right hand side here and at the bottom are customizable widgets. For example, if I slide this over, and to change this, you just basically just drag and drop. So I'm here, I can delete this search bar, that'll go away. What if I want to add let's add custom HTML to the blog sidebar. And the custom HTML could be whatever you want it to be. It could be an image, it could be just about anything. We can add an image, we can add video. It really doesn't matter, but you have a ton of options. And then again, you can do the same thing with your footer. And just to show you, down here is the footer. If I refresh this screen, you'll see the search bar disappear. It is no longer there. We have successfully removed the search bar. I'm just going to slide that back over, and those are the widgets. Now menus are pretty important. I don't have any menus set up, but menus are basically the text that show up at the top of the screen. So if you ever see text that says home, about, contact us, privacy policy, things of those nature, those are configured at the menu screen. Now usually they'll have a default menu that you can download, but the way this theme is set up, it doesn't provide that. But you can create your own menu. So we'll call it header menu, and we'll create the menu, and then we could add a few different things. So we'll say, let's see, we'll do custom link, and we'll say espn.com, and we'll text link, we'll call it home. And I'm going to add that and click save. Now this website is not configured correctly to show up, so it may not show up the way that it would normally show up if it were on a page. You can create your own menus. A number of themes have pre-installed menus. You just go in, you can add them and you can modify them. You can add and remove things as necessary. You can also delete windows or delete menus. So those are the menus. Header, if we go down to header, again, we have more customizable information. This will allow you to change the picture, the default picture that shows up when someone lands on this page. So if we go to theme editor, I recommend that if you don't have a coding background, do not mess with the theme editor, because this can fundamentally break your website. Just leave this alone unless someone instructs you. If you're paying a programmer to make a fundamental change to your website, they want you to change something within your website, that's when you're going to manipulate the theme or the theme editor. But I recommend, if you don't have any background or experience in programming, especially with PHP programming or HTML for that matter, don't make any changes here. So I just want to go to my pages here, and I'm going to sample page this. So this is what a sample page looks like. And if I go preview, this is what a sample page looks like. It looks a little different than a theme. The key difference between it looks a little different than a blog post. The key difference between a blog post and a page is you can have multiple blog posts on a page, but you can't have multiple pages on a blog post. So again, this is going to get a little bit of technical. You can only have one page at a time, but you can have multiple blog posts show up on a single page, for those that were wondering. All right, so we're going to back out of here. We are in the appearance section. We've gone through everything there. Now let's take a look at the plugins. As I mentioned, plugins add additional functionality to your website. As you can see here, there's a few default plugins that are already installed. This plugin, Hello Dolly, it actually changes what it says up here at the top right. As it says, howdy Alexi Godbolt. Anytime you navigate away from this dashboard and come back, usually it'll say something different. You can find a ton of plugins. I recommend though, don't have a lot of plugins on your website. The more plugins you have, the slower your website is going to load. What I recommend is possibly a plugin for search engine optimization. You may want to have a plugin to protect your text that's on your webpage to prevent people from stealing it. And you may want to have one or two other ones. You don't really need a lot of plugins. You may need a plugin to reduce or compress the size of your images, but for the most part, you don't need a lot of stuff on there. Again, the more plugins that are on there, the more it's going to bog down your website. And the longer it takes for the website to load, the faster people are going to click off and you're going to lose money. So we can jump over to popular, and these are some of the popular ones. A contact form. That form can like drop down when someone's trying to navigate off of the page. Update Draft Plus is a good one that you could use to back up your website. There's a WordFence helps secure your website. There's a number of different plugins that work very nicely, but don't get enamored in downloading a bunch of them. WP Super Cache is a nice one. You might actually find a WordPress theme that has a lot of these already integrated, so don't go crazy when it comes to downloading these. Page Builder can be nice, but it can be cumbersome as well. WP Fastest Cache is also nice. Caching will allow your website to load faster. If possible, you want to pick a web hosting provider that has caching and it has a CDN, a content delivery network. Basically, a CDN, a content delivery network, enables a website to load faster. It does this by putting pieces of your website all over the world. Without the CDN, let's say someone goes to alstongodwill.com and my website's based in the United States, someone from the Philippines is going to have to go all the way from the Philippines all the way over to the United States where the data center is, and that can take a long time, a relatively long time. Now we're talking about milliseconds or seconds, and we're not talking about minutes, hours, or years. CDNs help because a piece of my website will be in, let's say, China or Hong Kong or wherever, and if someone from the Philippines, instead of going all the way to the United States, they go to Hong Kong and get the initial part of my website, and then that allows the back end of my website to load faster, which gives the appearance that my website is faster. So if possible, and this is a pro tip, if you can find a web hosting provider that has a CDN and has caching, that is a web hosting company to consider. All right, so that allowed me to get into my nerd bag a little bit there. So now that we've talked about plugins, let's go ahead and look at the users. You can create new users. This is where I was talking about earlier. You want to have a primary admin user, and then you want the admin user to create other users. The reason why you want to do that, as I mentioned, is if someone hacks the other users, you don't want them to have the admin level, so your website is still kind of protected. Someone may be able to go in and do some damage to your site, but it won't be as bad as if they have access to your admin level. And to create a new level, you just go to add new, give it a name. We'll say a Godbolt, we'll give it an email address, and we can show a password. And then this is where you can change the level. So right now I'm on subscriber. That basically means if I were holding a membership site, they would have access to membership stuff. What you can do is give that person an editor or an author, and that allows them to make changes like add posts, add pages, and do some basic changes, but they can't change the fundamentals of your website. So if I were to do that, I'd go add new, and I would maybe add a couple of those, add one for you and one for your significant other if you want them to have it, or you can just add one more and then move on to the next. So next we're going to go to tools, and there's a ton of different things that you can do within the tools. You can import, you can export. If you wanted to import some of these things so that when you post, it gets sent out to RSS or Blogger or whatever, that's not really necessary, and I recommend not doing that actually, but these are additional options that you have. In fact, if you're getting started, you don't really need anything in the tool section right now. You could actually just jump straight to settings, and these are some settings that we're going to change. As you can see, this is the second place where you can change the site title, the tagline, the WordPress address URL, the admin URL or the admin email, a membership site if you wanted to. You can add new users as subscribers. You can actually change the permissions there. And then you want to change your time zone. And if you know your time zone, like I'm in Chicago here, select the Chicago time zone. And then you can also change your date format. This makes sense to me, so I'm going to leave it. You can also change the date and time, and your week starts, for me, it starts on Sunday. So I'm going to save those changes. So if I go down to writing, I would leave all of this as is. There's no need to make any changes here. Go to reading. We want to start, we can change this to a static page, home page. We'll go to simple page, blog post, simple page, and that'll actually change when someone goes to, let's say, alstongodbold.com, it changes what'll show up first. So we can leave that. We'll go to static page. We can change number of blog pages that show up at most. I would recommend changing this to maybe to 5 if you're having page speed issues. That'll reduce that, or that'll help with that. And you can change, then you can actually make these changes here as well. I recommend leaving this unchecked. Search engine visibility. Discourage search engines from indexing the site. I want search engines to index the site because I want to use search engine optimization. And if I discourage search engines from seeing the site, it'll never get found and the site will be a bust. Next, we're going to go to discussion. And again, this is really up to you what you want people to see. You can allow or disallow people to make comments and so on. But this is all really up to you, as fine-grained as you want it to. Media, these are the default sizes for your images. I would leave them as is. But also another pro tip, when you are uploading or adding images, use JPG files and not PNG files. PNG files are larger by default, and the larger the file, the more space it's going to take. Each website takes up space, and the more space your website takes on the server, the slower it's going to load. What I recommend is that you add JPEG files and not PNG files, just so that your website loads as fast as possible. I've made the mistake of uploading PNG files, and it can completely crush your website. Now, site speed matters for both the customer as well as Google or other search engines. If your site loads slowly, Google will punish you in the rankings. You don't want that. We go down to permalinks. This is the way your website's going to show up. I recommend that you set it up so that your website shows up with the post name. So if we have that down here, don't have it show up with day and time or plain or anything like that. You want it to show up with the post name because that actually helps with SEO as well. You can also add custom, but I recommend just leaving it as post name and then clicking save. So if we continue on, privacy, we can use the default privacy policy page. Every website, if you're going to be making money, if you're going to be recommending products and services, you should probably have this privacy policy. All right, so now that we have gone over some of the menu items for WordPress, let's go ahead and install a brand new theme. What I like, use, and recommend is to go to a website like ThemeForest and find WordPress themes. You want to find a theme that is reasonably priced, that has good ratings. A ton of these themes will work. So what you want to do basically is just, we'll say blogging. We'll type in blog for WordPress. And a few of these themes, and if I'm being perfectly honest with you, most people use the same themes, and you'll be able to tell that it's a WordPress theme, and you'll actually be able to tell which theme they're using because for the most part, a lot of these people use the same themes because they're fast, they work, and people are just familiar with it. Again, as you can see here, the price ranges anywhere between like $10 and $70. You can probably find a decent theme for, let's say, $49 or $50. What I want to do is I just want to go up to WordPress. We'll go popular items, and most people are using this first theme here. For my first blogging website, I used Xtheme. Alright, so this is Xtheme. Be careful because sometimes people will they'll basically download the theme and then they will create a brand new theme and they'll call it something slightly different, and they'll wind up breaking or making your website worse. So, for example, I used Xtheme on my first site. Someone could go through, buy and download this theme, this Xtheme theme, and they could clone it and make a few tweaks and then re-upload it as a new theme and sell it for, let's say, $10. Someone will see that it's basically Xtheme and they'll download it, and it'll actually do more harm to your site. So make sure that you check on the reviews. This one has been purchased 210,000 times, so it's pretty good. Some of these other ones here, basically what you're going to do here is you're going to add to cart. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to add the cart, you're going to pay for the theme, and then you're going to be given a link to download. You're going to click download. It's going to come in a zip file. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've already downloaded a theme. So I've got this theme here. It's in a zip file. All right, so here we are. Here is that theme. What you'll need to do is you'll need to extract it. And then in most instances, there will be directions on how to upload the theme. Also, when you extract it, there will be a certificate of purchase, and you'll need to enter in the confirmation code into a special place on the WordPress theme just to confirm that you own it, that you purchased it. Do not give that confirmation code away, because if you give it away and someone else uses it, that could invalidate both your theme as well as the theme that you've given it to. So make sure that you hide that as well. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go back over to our website here. Go back over to our website, and I am going to go over to Appearance, Themes. Then I'm going to click on Add New Theme. And then I'm going to click on Upload Theme. And what will happen is when you extract the initial theme, you should also be given another zip file. That zip file is where you're going to drag and drop, or you're going to upload it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag and drop this theme here. So I'm going to go over to downloads, and then I've got to find so I go there, and then I'm just going to click install now. This may take a couple minutes. This may install right away. All right, so unpacking, installing, theme installed successfully. Now, if you're working off of a completely blank website like I am, you can actually go in, you can import the template. If we jump back over to ThemeForest, usually there is a template that you can take a look at. You can import that template. So if we go live preview, here, you can essentially import one of these previews. And I like to do that because I'm not starting from scratch. To do that, you just go over to activate. So we're going to go back to themes, and you can see this new theme here. What we can do is we can do a live preview just to look and see how it looks and feels. As you can see, it's completely different now, completely different. So we're going to go back, we're going to close out, and we are going to click activate. When you activate it, if I right click and go view website, all right. So if we click on visit site, as you can see, my website is completely different. It has the new theme. This is actually the exclusive theme offered by Project 24. This theme loads in less than a couple milliseconds, which is really great for SEO. It's great for user experience. So if we go back here, I'm just going to go click on that. And then what I want to do is, if I go over to themes, we'll go customize. And then this is where you can make your additional customization. We go to site identity. We could leave that as is. We can change our homepage settings if we want. We can load the homepage, we can load the blog. It really doesn't matter. As you can see there, it's different how it loads. We go to sample page again. Now, I don't want to necessarily bore you with setting this up, because I completed a video on setting up this theme before, and it's exactly how my website alstongodwill.com is set up. But there are some things that we may want to do. We go to, so a few things that we need to do is we need to install plugins. So if we go to some themes have one-click installs. As you can see at the very top, it says this theme recommends the following plugins. We go Google Typography. We're going to install that. It'll take a couple seconds for it to install and load. Let's see if I go over to plugins. As you can see, it is now there. Then we also want to, go back here. Let's install the rest of these themes quickly to make sure they show up, and do the one-click install, demo import, and then the short pixel optimizer. And I'm just going to refresh this. And then the next step is to activate these 4 themes. Apply. Now that we have these themes installed, it should give us some additional options. So we're going to go over to appearance, then we're going to go into import demo data. Now again, you don't have to do this. I like to do it because I don't like to start from zero. And then we can click import data once this is ready. What I'll do is I'll show you a final picture or a final video once everything has been uploaded, so that we're not just hanging on for dear life. All right, so if you want to know how I started generating passive income every single day, click the first link in the description or go to alstongodwill.com/start. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.